Welcome back, folks. Art of the City. I hope that you're having a great week. I certainly am, and it's just about to get better. We have been so fortunate to bring on some of the most important talent really in the world, and definitely people who are living in our time period, which have really affected the world that we know it. And this artist that I'm bringing on is not only such an incredibly talented musician that has impacted generations of listeners, but he is also an incredible painter and artist. So that's one of the reasons why I really am so happy about doing Art of the City, is because I really get this great opportunity to bring in people that we never knew were so talented. And this gentleman, you're going to recognize him. I'm going to actually play his video. We're going to do a little tease here. I'm going to play his video before I try to bring him on live. So let's see if you know who this is.
The Road to Austin, featuring live performances by Chris Christopherson, Bonnie Raitt, Delbert McClinton, the late great Stephen Bruton, Joe Ely, and many more.
Hey, we're in for a little excitement now, a little rock and roll history. This guy played with Delaney and Bonnie. He co-wrote, played, and sang with a little band called Eric and the Dominos. He was with George Harrison on All Things Must Pass, Bobby Whitlock, and Coco Carmel. Hello, Austin! Hello, Austin! Woo! We're glad to call this home. We're glad to call this home. Kick it down, baby. Kick it down, baby. What do you do when you get lonely? Go out and win like a star. I'm lost, too lost, too lost. It's just this
Okay, I just had to give you guys a little tease, because I'll tell you what, if that doesn't make your day or your evening or wherever you're streaming live from, I'll tell you what will. You know, this is the memorabilia that we have for our entire lives. That story of Layla, to me, is just so touching. And who is the creator of that? Well, I'm bringing him on live right now. And here he is, the Mr. Bobby Whitlock. Welcome to the show, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you, Ruth-Ann.
Can you
Thank you
hear
for
me?
having me on.
Oh my gosh, I am such a huge fan. And just to think about all this talent that you have with not only music, but now we're going to delve a little bit into your painting. How did this start?
Well, started just over 2 years ago. I had some canvas, I found some canvas in one of our barns. And Coco's an artist, and I brought it into her. I said, "Hey, maybe you can get some oil or something and paint, some pictures, she said, "You've always admired all these people that can paint. Why don't you just go get some oil and paint it yourself?" And I went, "Well, okay." And so I went and got some paints and a little easel and stuff, and a couple of brushes, and came back and I tried one thing. Oh, it was awful. I thought it was terrible. And then I did another one, and I said, I'm packing it in. I'm singing play.
And then how did it evolve from there? Did we lose him? Oh, shucks. This is the way technology works sometime. Hopefully we'll get him to come back in here in just a second. This is what we kind of struggle with, when we go live with any platform, Instagram. But while we're waiting for him to come on, I think one of the things that really has made me reflect on the music and the art is that they have so much in common, because one is this inspiration that comes from these great musicians, and it's something that we all get to hear. And fortunately, with recording, we kind of get to capture those moments and we get to listen to them. Painting or sculpture or whatever that creative is very much like that, because it's still that creative source that comes out into a medium, but rather than being audio, it's visual. But the thing that they have in common is that they're here forever. So these are the things that really define who we are as a society and define who we are, I think, forever in history. So somebody like Bobby Whitlock, I mean, if you folks have had an opportunity to really read about his history, which I had the opportunity to do that, he has been involved in so many different genres of music. It's been starting out with gospel from the time he was a little kid, and then moving into bluegrass and then rock. And he has worked with all these different rock stars. I was listening to a story about his experience with the Rolling Stones when he was in England. And it was quite profound to see how he was taking his gospel roots and really utilizing those to bring more to the Stones than they had ever heard before. And I think we're getting him to come back on here so he could tell the story to us. But I think just those layers is really what we're going to see in his work. All right, you're back. I felt like I was going to need to get a lighter, when you're at a concert. I don't think they use lighters anymore. I think it's the iPhone now, the light. But yeah, I was trying to get you back with my lighter. I'm like, come back.
I don't know what happened. These things are out of my control.
It
But
is.
I was talking about my third painting, and when I did it, I knew something special had happened. Coco says, "That's really beautiful." Yeah, she said, "Now you've done it." And I didn't quite, I thought, "Oh yeah, she's, just being nice, just being sweet."
Right.
And encouraging me. So I went to one of my sites, and my Facebook sites, because I knew I had a bunch of people who were artists on there, and I just wanted to get an unbiased opinion from somebody, what they thought. And then I put it out, and then it just immediately just people flooding back in. We didn't know you could paint, and all this stuff. It was pretty amazing, and then it just went from there. And I had something pop up on today, and it said, today, 1 year ago today, I painted my 786th painting. And it's, somehow or other, this thing keeping up with it, because I've been putting them out as I do them all the time, because everybody's been a part of this experience for just over 2 years. And it's pretty amazing, if I say so myself.
So
I
when you
feel,
set your mind to do something, you go big.
well, it just happened. Either I want to do it or not. I've become this. It's just like music to me. Only you can't see music. You can feel it. And my paintings have the same effect because you can feel them. They're all emotional. Somebody asked me one time, "What kind of artist are you?" I said, now, this was in the beginning. I said, "I don't know." I said, "I guess it's all emotion. So maybe I'm an emotional artist."
That's
And
a good way to describe it. Can I
yeah,
ask you, going back to, your roots as a musician, and I've done a little bit of research, obviously I've known who you are, but do you see
yeah.
that, are you seeing that the layers of your life have translated now into a visual? Because you've been creating music, which, like you just said, you can't see music, you can feel it, you can hear it, it's audio. But
Yeah.
what are your feelings, I guess, when you're creating compared to what it's like when you're making music?
It's the same. I have found that I'm so like when I play and sing, I don't think about what I'm doing. I'm that instrument. I'm just the conduit. Through this creative. For me, it works. Creative principle or law of the universe that makes the tides come and go at certain points, and just I visualized the schools of fish in the sea moving a free will, birds in the sky, and that's that same principle in operation. Writing songs, anybody can write rhyme, moon, June, tune, and coon, but not everybody can allow the creative force to come through and work through them. And when it does, it works through you, for you, and as you.
Right.
My biggest thing is I have to stay out of my way. You know, that's what my thing for me is. I've learned that I really have to stay out of my way, just like in music. Same thing with the art. I have to
So
stay
how
out of
did
my
you
way.
get those principles, Bobby? Because one of the things I found to be really fascinating is, I don't know how you first picked up your first guitar, but you had mentioned in one of the interviews that I listened to that you don't read music. So somewhere along the line, you grasped this concept that you didn't have to do things conventionally like everybody else.
No,
So how did
I'm
that start?
started playing. Huh?
How did that begin? This idea that you're going to just, like, you're picking up a brush and you're creating art. And did that start with you picking up an instrument and playing without having formal training?
Yeah, I could play anything. I was first chair drummer in school, and that's what I really wanted to be, was a drummer. And I was good at it, still am. But I was first chair drummer in school, never read a lick. Everybody else had to. Drum charts. I can't put the two together. Any kind of chart or anything like that. It doesn't go with anything that I'm doing. Because I just have to go with it. This um, I've always been able to play. I've been singing since I can recall, and I have a good memory. I remember when I was a baby. You know, I remember back probably further than I should be. But it comes from my upbringing. You don't forget an upbringing like I had.
So would you share just a little bit? I don't want to, be too forward, but where did you grow up, and where did the whole artistic sense come? Because it's in music, obviously, it's in art, but it's all one. It's creativity.
Yeah.
How did you grow up, and how did that get fostered?
I've been surrounded with music all my life. My grandmother, Big Mama King, she played dobro. I've got that dobro here in the house, and she set me up in her lap and put the guitar in front of me, and I could barely reach over it, and I couldn't reach the headstock with my left. That's how little I was. And we'd sit on the front porch, and she'd sing and swing, and turn the radio on, get in touch with Jesus.
That's great.
I mean, so I was always surrounded with music. All of my family played, sang, did something, except my sister, bless her heart. She cut a head of hair though. But I don't know. I've always had that aptitude. My whole life has been a song, really. And I I don't know when I remember clearly. I was talking to Coco the other day about this. In the 5th grade in Newport, Arkansas, and I went into the music department, and I saw these horns and everything there, and I started messing with them, and everything I touched, everything I picked up, I could play. Everything, and it's always been that way. When I started playing Hammond organ, when I started playing organ, I just picked it up. I just started playing, Um, the first real instrument I played after put the tuba down. The first real instrument I played was a chromatic harp that I got in the junk store up in Minnesota, and I just picked it up and started playing like Stevie Wonder.
That's
And it's just one of those things. I can do it.
That's your gifting. That's the thing that you have that probably, most people work really hard to be able to get good at something, even just one instrument. But to have that talent that you can pick up just about anything and it just comes to you innately, that's a pretty special gift. So, in your life as you're growing up, did you find that you had any adversity that you used music to overcome those things?
My whole upbringing, but we're the sum total of who we are from day one. That defines us,
Sure.
And I had a hard life when I was a young fellow. I was working in the fields picking cotton and strawberries and beans, and chopping cotton and sharpening hoes, riding the back of planters and stuff. And then we picked up scrap iron, just me and my mom. My dad was a Southern Baptist minister, and he dropped us off every hog water between Diaz, Arkansas, and Tiptonville, Tennessee, and we had to make do for ourselves. And
Wow.
I always lived with my mom. I was raised by women. My mom, Big Mama King, Aunt Dude, Aunt Emmeline, my Granny Whitlock,
That's why you're
Aunt.
so talented. It's all these women.
I know it. I know it. I ain't no trouble that came in my life when I had men in it.
All
As a
right.
matter of fact, my life is women now. It
I
really
love
is.
that. That's great.
Nancy, Kay, and Coco, Allison. I'm Allison Perlman. Yeah, I feel real fortunate to be doing what I'm doing and to be blessed with this thing. And I'm just in the flow. I just
Mhm.
stay in the flow and try.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about your art because you've really achieved quite a bit as a musician. And this is almost like stage 2, if you will, as far as, having this public presence with your work now. People are following you, collecting your art. What does that feel like? And do you have a vision for where you'd like to see that go? I know you're a guy who lives in the moment a lot, but I thought I'd ask you if you had any ideas about that. Did I lose you? Let me see if I can get you back here. Maybe. Okay, we're going to have to see if we can get Bobby back. Everybody get out your lighter now. We'll bring him back from the back there. But seriously, I wanted to just share that one of the things that we're going to be doing more and more here on Art of the City is bringing in creatives from all over, whether they're musicians. We have some culinary folks coming on that have made some very important impacts, and not only cooking, which we all love, but also in other things as far as the environment, food sustainability, that are really reaching out. So make sure you tune back in with us. We're going to see if we can get Bobby back on here, because I'm just mesmerized. I know you must be too, with this man and his story, and the fact that he is taking everything that he has, extracted from his whole history of his life, and now he's pouring it into the canvas. So I was hoping that if we get him back up, we can see some of the works that he's working on. And I tried to download a few, but unfortunately, this platform is not allowing me to do that today. It's not behaving. So we'll give it another minute to see if we can bring him on. And the last thing I wanted to share before he comes back on, if he does, is that mark your calendars for the month of August, because we're devoting the entire month of August to Indian country. And what that means is we are going to be traveling into Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we will be profiling some of the most important artists that are working there and have been living there for many years. So that is something that you would really love to see. Not only do we have painters, but we have a couple of sculptors. And then we're going to be bringing in one of the most important hoop dancers. This is a 3-time world champion hoop dancer, is a female, and we are doing a tribute to her brother, Nakota Laurent, who was a 5-time world champion and had been touring with Cirque du Soleil for the last 5 years. We were able to capture him here on Art of the City. It was actually his last live performance. And unfortunately, he, as a hoop dancer and with Cirque du Soleil, they tend to do some kind of daredevil tricks. And he was practicing on a bridge where he lives in Oklahoma and unfortunately fell to his death. So only 30 years old. So we'll be also doing a tribute for him. So make sure you tune in August. It's going to be a good one. And I'm seeing somebody come back on. We don't give up easy around here. So let's see if we can get him to come back on. Yes. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're not giving up here. Let's see if we can bring him back up.
It's fine.
I don't give up easy, No. And especially with someone as important as you are. So you were talking about before technology wasn't obeying us today. You were talking a little bit about the fact that you are taking all of these talents that you have and now you're bringing them into the art world, which I think is such a blessing for all of us on this end, because now we get to see the next stage of your life, from the music that we've all been touched with, and now we're going to be looking at your artwork. So what are your thoughts about that?
I'm so grateful to have this thing happen for me. I didn't go looking to do this. It just happened. And I'm grateful to everyone who's been supporting me this whole time along the way. And that includes thousands of people, really, but all of my close ones.
Your Facebook Facebook people.
Yeah, all the Facebook people. My goodness,
You've got a huge following. You've got a huge stream of people in here right now, just talking about how much you've touched their lives. I was wondering, I tried to download some of your images. I'm having some technical difficulties. Is there any way that maybe Coco, if she's there, could bring a painting over so that we could see it? Because I'd like to show at least one.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've got some behind me there as well. But,
perfect.
oh, yeah, that's let me get out of here. Oh, yeah, regatta. That's called a regatta. That's one of my first, probably number 15 or something. That was real early because I paint at least one painting a day, sometimes two. But I've been doing this now every day. Every day. I have I stopped counting at 1,000. Now I have probably 150 more in my studio. And so, oh yeah, Black Patty. Allison suggested that I do some rock and roll art, and I said, "Oh, I don't know about that. I can't, like try to. I don't ever know what I'm going to do. I don't know what it's going to be." And so I went, well, let's give it a shot and try it. And so I got this panel. I was painting a wood panel. I got this panel and painted it black. And because I make the colors pop, and pop out. And then I got down to the face, and I went, because I was just kind of freelancing, just doing it,
Right.
And I got to the face and went, uh-oh, what can I do here,
So Bobby, when you're painting, how does that feel in relationship to, let's say, writing music? Because you go into it, like you said, you have no idea what you're going to do, and then it comes to you. Do you feel
exactly the same?
It's exactly the same. Okay.
It's the creative process and principle. Both are the same with music as it is with my art. I have to follow that voice that directs you to do what you're supposed to do. That you have to just let go and follow that thing, and it just happens. Hang on. I just hang on to the brush, and I don't even choose the colors or anything. I stand before a blank canvas, not having a clue what I'm getting ready to do. What I am getting ready to do is be a part of a miracle, because each one of my paintings is a miracle. Oh yeah, that's awesome right there. I love that. That's a whale, blue whale breaching, one of the killer whales. And that just happened. I didn't set out to draw a fish or paint a fish.
Well, you know what I think you really have tapped into? Somewhere along the line, you learned how to let go of the mind that wants to control everything. And you learned how to tap into the subconscious and just let it go. And we all have that. It's just that, most of us have not learned to let go and to allow those things. Now, I don't know if most of us can pick up any instrument and start playing it. I think that's the miracle.
This is good. I love this painting right here. It's that woman hanging on a tree. Wind blowing. I don't know. And then like this painting, it's minimal. I think I can't remember. There were like 9 strokes in it or something, and I just prepared the canvas. I got familiar. I always touch my canvas or panel all over it. It's like a connection between me and this, an extension of me, where that's going to be. And I touch it. It's like, hello,
wow,
get us closer. And then I go back and then I'll paint the whole thing white or blue or pink or whatever, and let that direct what I'm getting ready to do. I don't even choose what color I'm going to do, and I don't always do it. But I don't know what's happening. I'll turn around and go, wow, and it's like it's on and it's moving. And I'm just.
Is that a similar interaction that you have with when you're textile, when you have the tactile, rather, the brush and the canvas, that when you pick up a guitar? Do you have a similar relationship, I guess? I think we're getting a little bit of a delay here, folks.
That's it.
Did you hear what I said? Or sometimes we're getting a little bit of a delay. I was just saying that when you're using a brush and a canvas, do you feel, and you said that's an extension, do you feel that same way when you pick up a guitar, for instance, or an instrument?
Yeah, so playing organ, Hammond B3, because it has all these drawbars, and I mean, it's just like painting, you know, it's just like painting, you playing B3 because it has all these drawbars, and like, it's just, they're the brushes, you know, and the color is, you know, the sound is the
I love
color, and
that.
it's the wash.
That's
You know,
so
so it's the same.
amazing. I
Yeah, and
love
so
that.
when I'm painting, it's the same thing. So I mean, it's the same emotion. I mean, it'll come out that way, or if whatever, if it's tranquil, it becomes that. You can see it, you know. People look at my art, you know, and they say they look at it for, you know, 15, 20 minutes to an hour, you know, and just it takes them away. And they see all faces and all sorts of things. I see these things too after, you know.
Right.
You
Because
know,
you're just in the moment creating it. So are you planning at some point to do a large exhibit? I know we can't do anything because of the COVID right now, but once this all passes, would you be open to doing a show at some point?
yeah, yes, I look forward to it. You know, everything that's taking place in this, with this whole thing, it froze up again. I don't know if this records or not.
What
Are
were,
we?
we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Everything that's taking place, you know, it's, I'm just following along with it. You know, and I'm sure it's going to come. I wasn't given this incredible gift to fail. All right. I wasn't given this to fail.
Right.
All the right, everything and everyone will come. And that includes you, Allison, everybody. There was a man, James Foreman, that I had my one gallery in.
I think we're losing him again here, folks. I'm just getting so inspired though, and I love his optimism.
Arkansas. And
Okay.
everybody necessary for the fulfillment of this has come along without me having to go find them.
Do you always feel that way about your life? Because you seem, I was just sharing with the audience that you just seem so optimistic, and you also seem like you really have a lot of trust in the universe.
Yes, I am optimistic because, you know, if you're down on the bottom, at least you got somewhere to go, you know.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, you can rise above it. Gives you something to rise above, and when you do that, you're growing. You know, you're being who you're supposed to be. You're fulfilling your role in the universe. You
Oh
know, I
my God.
know now. See, it's like I've always done this all my life. I mean, since I was a child, it feels like that I've always painted. This is how familiar I am with who I am now. You know, I still sing and play, uh, uh, but what leads me and directs me now is acrylic art. You know what I'm doing, and I want. And while I'm here, I want, if you don't mind, I want to, because there was a guy that I want to bring attention to him because there's all these people that have come, strangers have come, and they're all important links along the way. This guy's named Eddie Gugliotta, and he's in Miami, and he turned Allison Zucker Perlman onto my art. He saw one of my things called the Dolomites, and I went back and looked at it too yesterday. It's pretty impressive, I gotta say.
Well, that's where, you know, all the pieces come together. You just never know you're going to meet on the path, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like same thing with my autobiography. I mean, I had a cathartic experience that lasted 17 months, and and my autobiography came out of it. But I didn't start it. I didn't stop it. You know, I was just there for the ride. It's just like this right here. I know that I'm 72, and I know that I'll be painting for the rest of my days on this planet. You know, I know that.
Well, you have a message in your work, and that's the thing that I think will come out of it is when you look at it, you feel that energy, and your energy is very much of someone who is sharing this message that you can overcome anything. And you're showing that not only through your music, that your story, which I know we don't have time to talk about all of that, but I did the research. And then, you know, you're talking about that in your art as well. And I think it's so beautiful, and it's going to touch a lot of people's lives. And that's what creativity is all about. It's about us giving back to the planet with the talents that we have. And you're doing that in a whole new way. And it's really exciting to see. And I'm hoping that at some point I can come to one of your shows and see all your artwork.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. I know that my painting touches people, and it makes a difference. And especially in times like what we're going through now, the world is going through change, you know, and you can't change without changing, you know. And
No,
it's going to be a better place. I believe that the world is a better place already, but for my artwork.
Uh-oh. Well, folks, I think that's going to be it for the show because it looks like he's having another glitch here. We'll give him a second to come on. But I think when I look at someone like this, I get inspired. Hopefully you folks will have been inspired as well, just to hear that optimism. And then you get to see why someone is so creative, because they wake up every day with something to give back to the planet. And I think that is really what we should all be doing, even if we're not painters or sculptors or creative. In that sense, we're all giving back in some way. So I'm going to give him a couple more minutes, and if we don't get him back on, we'll have him on another time. Let me just see if I can't do something here. I think we're going to have to call it a day. Well, I appreciate you tuning in today, Art of the City TV, and make sure you check our schedule because we've had a little bit of change in time depending on the artists we're going to have on and the time period that they're, wherever they're streaming from. So check our page. But you folks be blessed today. Just remember that even if, you know, sometimes we don't always feel like we have something to give, somebody like this is inspiring us that, yes, we do. We can give a lot more probably than we do in just the subtle ways with the talents that we have. So have a great day, folks, and I will see you next time on Art of the City.